Hey guys, so I am recording help for the Desmos lesson, Unit 4, lesson 10/11. So 10 and 11 together. And I've already recorded a video for 1 through 3, so this is going to be for 4 through 8. And you can feel free to skip ahead or pause it. I won't answer the questions, but I'll set them up so you can answer them. So all you got to do is click on the link and then skip to number 4. So it says dining at a restaurant. Jada has a meal in a restaurant. She adds up the prices listed on the menu for everything they ordered and gets a subtotal of $42. So she added all these things up and she got $42. When the check comes, it says that they also need to pay $3.99 in sales tax. So it says that they're going to pay $3.99 in sales tax. What percentage of the subtotal is the sales tax? So I'm trying to find a percent. I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do this. Let me take this away. So I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do this. So the first is with the number line. So I'm going to go over here to my number line that I've just created. And I'm going to create a number line. So we've seen these before. One of them is always percents, and the other one we're talking about money. So I'm going to make this $0. My subtotal. So my subtotal was $42. So that's my original price of my bill. Before I add on any of that extra stuff, this is my original price of my bill. So it's my 100%. So the original price of my bill, so it's my 100%. They want to know what percent of the total is the tax. So the tax was $3.99, so it wants to know what percentage is that. So I don't know what it is yet, but it's somewhere over here. So it's going to be really helpful to find a unit. We learned all about unit rates. We know we divide to find them. So I want to find the unit. Now, so I either want to find 1% or $1. Well, if I find 1%, I don't know how many I'll need to make this mystery number. But if I find $1, I know I need $3.99. So if I find $1, it will help me find $3.99. So finding 1% won't help me in this case, but finding $1 could. So I'm going to try to find $1. And so I'm trying to figure out what percent is that $1. Well, if I was to cut this up, I'd have $1, $2, $3, $4. How many of these $1 would I need to make 42? Well, I would need 42 of them. Oops. I would need 42 of them. So I need to cut this into 42 pieces. So I'm going to cut this number line into 42 pieces. I'm not going to draw it all. But if I cut it into 42 pieces, each one of them is going to be $1. So if I'm cutting the top into 42 pieces so that each one is $1 more, so $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, then I need to cut the other number line into 42 pieces as well. So I need to make sure that these are matching. So if I'm cutting the top one into 42 pieces so that each one's $1, I need to cut the bottom one into 42 pieces. So in my calculator, 100 divided by 42 is 2.38, like a bunch of decimals. So I'm just going to stop here at 2.38%. So I get about 2.38%. So that means that instead of a question mark, I have 2.38%. So that means every time I move up, I'm adding 2.38%. So 0 plus 2.38%, and then I'm adding it again. So 2.38 plus 2.38, and I get 4.76. So every time I move $1 on the top, I'm going to add 2.38 on the bottom. So every $1 moves 2.38%. So my question is, what can I do to get from $1 to $3.99? So how do I go from 1 to $3.99? Well, I can add $1 plus $1 plus $1 plus 99 cents. But instead of repeatedly adding $1, so like instead of going $1 plus $1 plus $1, instead of repeatedly adding, I can just multiply, right? Because repeated addition is just multiplying. So 1 times $3.99 equals $3.99. So $1 times $3.99 equals $3.99. And so whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. So I'm going to match them. So that means 2.38 times $3.99 is going to give me my mystery amount, my percent. All right, so let's put that in our calculator. So 2.38, and I need $3.99 of them. I get about 2.4962. So I'm going to round that. I'm going to round it to about 9.5%. So over here on your work, you could put for $1. So for your work, because you got to show work, right? For $1, we found that it was 2.38%. So I multiplied that by $3.99. So I had to find out the new percent. So $3.99 times 2.38 gave me the first one. So put your answer there. We did round it. So we got like 9.5. And it says they actually paid $52.99. So they added an additional $7 tip. What percentage of the subtotal is the tip? So if we go back here, I'll put it in black. So now I want to know if I have $7. Let's say this is $7. What percent is that? Well, how do I go from 1 to 7? So I need 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. I'm going to need 7. I'm going to have to add this 7 times, or I can just multiply by 7. So I can add this 7 times, or I can just multiply by 7. So I'm going to let you finish this one. So every $1 moves 2.38%. So I need 7 of them. So I'm going to multiply 2.38 again, but this time I have $7. And 2.38% was my unit rate, right? 2.38% every $1. So for the second one, hopefully you're listening. So you're going to multiply my $7 by 2.38, and that will give me this answer. All right. Okay, so for number 5, it says the tax rate at this restaurant is 9.5%. Another person's subtotal is $24.95. So you'll see it here, subtotal. How much will their sales tax be? So they want to know, how much will their sales tax be? So I'm going to set up a table because a tax rate is a constant rate. Right? Every time we go to the store, we're constantly being charged tax, and it's always the same. So it's unchanging. So it's a constant rate. It's a tax rate. It's a constant. So it's our K. So I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put subtotal on the left. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to put subtotal on this side. So subtotal on the left, and I'm going to put sales tax on the right. So I'm going to make an X, Y table. We saw a lot of these. You guys should be proportion pros. So sales tax. So I'm writing sales tax and subtotal. You don't have to use the colors. I'm just using it to try to help you. So we know that X times our rate, our constant, our K, equals Y. So we know that X times something equals Y. So X times our constant equals Y. Well, what is our constant rate? Well, our constant rate is 9.5%, but that's a percent. We don't really multiply by percents typically. So I need to convert this 9.5%. And so if I'm going to take the percent away, I'm going to divide it because it's out of 100. So if I want to convert this percent to a number, because we don't multiply, the K is not usually a percent. I just take it out of 100 because the percents are out of 100. So 9.5 out of 100 is 0.095. So percents are out of 100. So this is really 0.0. Let me put it over here, 0.095. So percents are out of 100. So 9.5 divided by 100. And that just moves the decimal over to the left 2 places. So I'm multiplying by my tax rate. So my tax rate is my constant rate. I'm constantly being charged tax. All right, I'm ready to go. So my subtotal was $24.95. They told me that. They told me my tax rate. So they told me what I'm multiplying by. They told me my constant. And now I got to find sales tax. So you're all set up to solve this problem. So what is the sales tax? So you're going to multiply these and you'll get your sales tax. Remember, money stops at the second decimal place. So you're going to cut your number's going to have a bunch of decimals. Cut it off at the second decimal place. For the second one, it says that the sales tax is 1.61 and it wants us to find the subtotal. So for the second one, it says that the person's sales tax is $1.61. So they gave us $1.61. And the tax rate is constant. So this K does not change. This is constant. So the K does not change. Unchanging. And now I want to find, see how I want to find the subtotal? So I want to find this number right here. So if I don't know what I'm multiplying by, I can always go backwards and divide. So I'm going to do 1.61 divided by 0.095. So you're going to go backwards. So you're going to start at the sales tax, divide it by 0.095, and you'll get your subtotal. You're going to get a bunch of decimals. Remember, we stop at the second decimal place. So it should be around $16 and something cents. So cut it off at the second decimal place, and then these check marks right here will let you check your answer. So we've set it up for you. If you're not getting it correct, I would pause this video and really look at what it's asking you to do. And then you'll find the sales tax goes here, the subtotal goes here. So feel free to pause it. Make sure you're showing some work. You don't have to use colors. That was just to help you. And then you're looking for a green check mark, and money stops at the second decimal place. All right, on to number 6. It says, which of these expressions represents a 15% tip on a $20 meal? And which represents the total bill? So you're either choosing tip or total. So these expressions are either finding the tip or they're finding the total. So 0.15 times 20. So 15% times 20. So let's try it out. 0.15 times 20. Well, that's $3. So that can't be total, must be tip. $3 is probably the tip since it's a $20 meal. If I take that expression, so notice that this expression matches this one. So this is $3 because we just calculated it. If I add it to 20, well, 20 plus 3, well, now I'm finding the total. So if I'm adding the meal back to the tip, I'm finding the total. 1.15 times 20, well, let's try it out. So if I put a 1 right here, oh, I get $23, so that is the total. So notice that if I multiply the meal by 0.15 or 15%, I find the tip. If I multiply by 1.15, this is kind of like 115%. That's finding the total because I'm finding 100, which was 20, the meal, and 15%. So 1.15 is just another way to write this. 115% is like adding the original 100% plus the 15%. And then for the last one, it says 15 over 100 times 20. Well, 15 over 100 turns into 0.15. So 15 over 100 is equivalent to 0.15. So the first expression and the last one are equivalent because this is the decimal and the fraction are the same, just written differently. So this is also tip. So these are equivalent expressions. This one and this one are equivalent. They're the same. So we got tip, total, total, tip. So that's how you do this one. For number 7, so the last two are going to talk about a car dealership. And for both of them, the wholesale price of the car is $12,000. The dealership wants to make a 32% profit. So let's start with the wholesale price. So the original price of the car was $12,000. So my original price, or my 100%, was $12,000. Okay. So I'm making my double number line. Remember, percents goes on one of them, and then whatever you're talking about goes on the other. How much money will they mark up the price of the vehicle? How much will they mark it up? So a 32% profit means they're going to mark it up. So profit means they're increasing. They're trying to make money. So if they sell the car for $12,000 and they bought it for $12,000, they don't make any money. So they're going to have to make the car more expensive. They're going to make it 32% more expensive. So they're going to increase it. They're going to add 32%. So I'm going to get 132%. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're increasing the 100 by 32%. So I'm at 132. How much will they mark it up? So I'm trying to figure out when I move 32%, how much am I moving on the top? So I can do this two different ways. I'm going to show you one way first. So I'm moving up 32%. So I'm going to multiply my 12,000 by 32% because that percent is my rate. So I'm going up 32%. So I'm going to multiply by 32%. Because whatever I do to one, I do to the other. And so if I do 12,000 times 32%, I'm going to get a really big number because I forgot to do something. So if I do 12,000 times 32, oops, that's not right. I doubt they're going to charge us $384,000 more. So I accidentally forgot to divide this out of 100. So 32 divided by 100 is 0.32. So I just forgot to move my decimal over. So I forgot to move my decimal over. All right, now I'm ready. So I'm going to do 12,000 times 0.32. Okay, I get 3,840. So I'm getting 3,840. So they're going to charge us, we're going to add this on. So it's asking how much more money are they going to charge us? They're going to charge us $3,840 more. So for my markup, that's how much more they're going to charge us. So they're charging $3,840 more. So to this $12,000, I'm adding $3,840. So that's my markup. And then it says after the markup, what is the retail price? So you're going to take this $12,000 and you're going to add it to 3,840. So add these together and you'll find your retail price. Another way you could have done it is you could have multiplied by 1.32. So if I multiply 12,000 by 1.32, because now I'm taking the 132%, I will get my retail price. So I found the 32% and I can add it on, or I can just take my original and multiply it by 132% converted. So it's really your choice how you want to do it. So if you put a 1 right here, you'll get the retail price. So either way, it's really however you like to do it. So you don't have to do this part if it confuses you. And so you have the price, how much did they add to our total, and then how much was the new total if I add that to the 12,000. And then for number 8, it says a car dealership again pays $12,000. So $12,000. Okay. So that's how much money is the wholesale price. So the original price that they paid for the car was again $12,000. So this is the same as the last one. So the $12,000, so price goes on the top, percents on the bottom. During a special sales event, the dealership offers 10% discount off. So they're taking 10% off. They're taking it off. So remember these match. So I'm taking 10% off. So if I take 10% off 100, I'm at 90, right? 10% off of 100 is 90. So I'm looking for 90% of this. It says, after the discount, how much will the customer pay for this vehicle? So for this one, I can do this again different ways. You don't have to do it the way I'm going to show you. But this is a 10% difference, so I'm just going to cut this into 10%. So 10, take off 20, 30. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Sorry, I'm just going to do a couple of these. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then I'm going to match it on the top. So I'm matching the number of lines on the top. So if I cut the bottom into 10%, because I'm going down 10%, then I'm going to cut the top into 10 pieces. So I'm going to take my $12,000 and I'm going to cut it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you don't know how I got the 10 pieces, it's because there's 10 10% in 100. So 10 10% make 100. So 10, 20, 30, 40, there's 10 of them to make 100. 12,000 divided by 10. You can use your calculator if you would like, but I know that a 0 and a 0 cancel. So then 1,200 divided by 1 is 1,200. So that is how much I move each time. Each time I'm going to add 1,200. So each time I move on this number line, I'm going up 1,200. So each time I'm going down 1,200. So I'm going up 1,200. So if I go down one, I'm going down 1,200. So the way you find your new, it doesn't want to know how much you're taking off because you are saving 1,200. It wants to know what the new price of your vehicle is. So 12,000 take away 1,200. So you're going to do 12,000 take away 1,200. And that will give you your new amount of 10,800. So 10,800 is my new price of my vehicle. All right, when you're done, don't forget to mark it as done and have a great weekend.